You think Optic's going to win game one as well?
I was talking to myself the whole time. All right, so as I was saying, if they continuously play Stormpoint the way that they played yesterday in the MFAM tournament, I definitely could see them taking game number one. But this is also a team like Energy, I would like to say, where they like to ramp up momentum. So I feel like this first game could determine how they're going to approach the next few games that they have on their hands on Stormpoint. Because once again, we are switching off after the upcoming game into World's Edge. So it's going to be that constant back and forth that's going to have a lot of these teams trying to stick to what they feel is more consistent.
I love that breakdown. We're kicking things off with Ascend, the Portuguese sensation. Take a look at where the zone's going to be pulling here. It's going to be a very central zone, and also important to understand, we got Moist, Waltzy, and Pricey, the Aussies. I completely forgot that they qualified week one, so we got some Australian love. We gave a lot of love to the EU and North American teams, but they're dropping Cascade Falls where Team Liquid normally drops. Obviously, no Team Liquid in this lobby, which is why I can wear my Team Liquid hoodie. I'm not showing bias, I'm just wearing a hoodie. We're going to have them dropping Cascade Falls instead.
Yeah, the Moist Boys, okay? We got to highlight, this is the Burger Brigade that you, in the championship at LAN, you know, showed not only so much support, but you ate a burger for them, Fallout. So you got to give your love over to the Aussie boys because they've also been able to perform and stay consistent within their own regards here. And they are in the middle of rotating towards start of fight, but this circle definitely favors, like, guard, start of fight, Moist, because they're going to have access to that next beacon. So this is really great news for the teams that usually land in center of Stormpoint.
Yeah, that's a good situation for all of our central point teams. Meanwhile, teams that like to drop on the outskirts will obviously have to make themselves an edge rotation, which, you know, I can't remember the exact statistic, and I wish we had these stats, you know, more readily available. But I think there was something insane at Champs, like games one, I think was like 50-50 between teams that were outskirts and had to rotate into zone versus teams that were in zone already. So we always like to talk about, oh, favorable zone, quote unquote, for teams that drop center map or where the zone is. At the end of the day, that's not necessarily what the stats say. So, you know, a lot of teams that like to play edge can play edge to success and work their way in and find God's spot, like Optic likes to do for Mill, for example.
Really good point right there, too, especially when it comes to a lot of these southern circles, when it comes to the rotations and having to force yourself through some of these choke points, where a lot of teams that like to play the edge of the circle, like Optic Gaming, like to kind of linger around to catch any stragglers that are in the middle of a late rotation that aren't utilizing the skyward dive. In the LGS, we even witnessed some squads that actually didn't have the Valkyrie on their roster. So with a playstyle like that and running a composition like that, you want to be able to prioritize having that circle positioning without having to rely on the skyward dive. Like you can currently see right here already real estate being shared between two teams.
Yep, they're going to be coexisting and content coexisting for now. Meanwhile, speaking of Optic Gaming, already have made their rotate all the way to Jurassic Park. And I have to double check. Real quick. Are they dropping at Mill? 1 second. Let me take a look at my nifty screenshot.
Yeah,
Yes,
they usually always drop Mill. They beat
Yeah,
Sentinels a long time ago for that POI, so
Yeah,
probably still
exactly.
sticking to it.
Chances of them giving that up are slim to none. So that's a really fast rotation for them all the way over to Jurassic Park, and they'll be taking on some Prowlers. You have to be careful for third party. We've all been here before in ranked where you're in the Prowler land. Meanwhile, Nick Merckx and Tripods take out BR Demons as the first team eliminated from this lobby.
That's huge here, too. Great start here for the Tripods. BR Demons, unfortunately, being the first squad to go. That's a heavy-hitting team that actually performed really well recently in the ALGS. Now, Optic Gaming, again, one of those squads that take their time when it comes to looting after just seeing a fight happening on the kill feed. Does highlight how a lot of these teams are going to want to take these different approaches for game number one to figure out how they want to go into this next game in Stormpoint. But Optic Gaming just reserved. They have pretty good loot here, as you can see, already rocking one of the purples, as Skittlecakes is going to try to control a good amount of space, overlook some of the action from the high ground.
Yeah. Taking a look here at a couple of the teams nearby. You see TSM, NRG, E6 all in the distance. Love the new observer mode features that we get so we can see which teams are in the vicinity here of Optic Gaming still in Jurassic Park and looting up. And it's interesting here. With this center zone, Optic is actually assuming that the zone is going to pull fairly south. That's why they're going Jurassic Park. And on top of that, they basically get to loot up and get all of the loot that they need by fighting these Prowlers. As you're guaranteed to get loot that's going to drop for someone on your team. So I actually like this call from Optic. Maybe they didn't get the loot they wanted off drop and mill. They work on over, and they're going to have a fully stacked G7 Scout, car, etc. going into this late game. I think they're actually really well poised. And look at Duplex doing a really good job just playing the messenger here and keeping an eye out for anyone nearby.
Yeah, the Seer with the passive on the heartbeat sensor just to make sure they can see any of the other squads that are in the middle rotating. And this is what I was highlighting before with Optic Gaming. They love to play the edge to circle keep all the other teams in the middle of their rotation. Essentially also forcing them to funnel in the line of sight of other squads. If they're going to force this team up ahead, actually, to already rotate off to the left, they're going to be approaching the antenna POI from the shipfall contention. So you can expect that to be a fight, but I don't expect Optic to even capitalize off of that because this perfectly fits into their playstyle where they're situated right now. Because like you mentioned before, taking up this real estate in Jurassic Park allows them to take the 50-50 on rotations on where that next circle is going to be pushing because they don't have beacon control, so they don't know where the circle is going to be pulling for that next circle after this one closes.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point in terms of Optic's ability to take as much real estate, as much land as possible, and that's going to help them. Obviously, Duplex is going to actually get a knock and an elimination. So look at this. While Duplex is just, wiping teams, Skittlecakes is just having his time of his life fighting some Prowlers and letting Duplex do his thing, and that's why you always want one person kind of on a leash, able to go and get intel for your team. And right now, that's Duplex on Seer. Meanwhile, taking a look at Moist. They'll find themselves in a rotation with SSG fully kitted, by the way, 4 purple Evo shields for them, as they have a chance to take this 3v3 if they decide to. Again, not necessarily the smartest fight because they're going to have to get through some Watson fences and they risk third parties. I think SSG is going to be content chilling right here and putting some pressure on Moist as long as they can.
That honestly was an indicator right there too that unfortunately for girls team, they must have rotated out of Barometer into Shipfall because we saw G Dolphin also was able to clean up one of the KP right there too. So with our second squad dropping from this lobby, it was that forced rotation that we were talking about from Duplex when he wanted to put in some pressure, but he still was able to get in an angle where he could finish up that kill without allowing the rest of Optic Gaming to give up the POI and the real estate that they've already secured. So good moves already from both our teams here, VZD and Optic Gaming, cleaning up some KP in the process while we take a look at one of our winners from our Code Red qualifiers, Space Station. They were the winners of the qualifier number 2. So they're taking their time. They're looking to stay consistent as well. And it's Moist Esports that's playing off of the low ground right on the outskirts of their building. And I like this play because this is a very similar play that KCP actually did in the LGS EMEA region just this past Sunday, where they wanted to also take a 50-50 approach to the circle in case it pulls more towards them by launchpad. So they're just sticking outside of this no-name POI to see where that circle is going to pull.
Yeah, wise decision from them. Ascend likes to post up in antenna. We saw it in EMEA Pro League. They're going to do the exact same thing, this time with Watson and Newcastle in their team comps. They actually changed their team composition. I remember them running Watson Newcastle on Sunday, if I remember correctly. So you like to see some, automatic and ready-made adjustments made from some of these teams. Trying things out, making sure different team comps work well for them. And for Ascend right now, it's running Watson Newcastle, one of the flavors of the month, if you will. 100 Thieves started that team comp popularity, and ever since then, it's kind of grown. Complexity runs it. A few other teams like to run it. You call it the taser comp, the ability to get really good late game positioning while also having a Watson pylon to shield back up and avoid nades. It's really, really powerful, Vicky.
Something that we also didn't note, Fallout, actually, was that we are playing on the current patches. We could actually see a fight going on right now. We'll hold on to that thought for just right now, because it's nice to know after we saw the flatline in one of the hands of Ascend that the Anvil receiver is also on the ground. But Guard are just playing this patiently. Rambo is going to be able to heal right back to health. And this is another one of our squads that are going to be playing much more patiently and more for position because of the team comp that they're running. But with RKN playing the Crypto, he's just getting intel to see who their neighbors are, because this is the team that is neighboring them right next door. I'm wondering which squad that is. I believe it may be OP, but we're gonna have to see.
18 squads remain. We've seen Team Girl as well as the BR Demons using generic gamer tags that looked like Cowboy Man, and I don't know if you saw that. Vicky, if it was just me, someone tells me they changed their gamer tags, they can stay hidden and ranked. I have no idea, but they're either trolling or they are complete randoms playing in favor of BR Demons. But that's what we saw at the top right. Meanwhile, Effect playing with Alliance, actually, is going to find themselves a knock on 100 Thieves. That's a good start. The Guard's going to be under some pressure here over in their western building closest to Antenna. One team nearby from them, 100 Thieves, we saw got knocked earlier, and it looks like down to a team of 2. So Alliance was able to get a knock on 100 Thieves, and now Onmu and Vaxlong going to have to play as a duo.
And Vaxon's still rocking the blue evil shield, so they've been taking their time. But with TSM playing right underneath them, they do have the slight positional advantage on the high ground. But how much do you want to reveal with Alliance also neighboring you right next door? You can see Effect that is playing on Alliance, who have been rotating through some thirds to just be playing off the high ground. And you can see as well, Outplayed getting a knock onto Fire Beavers. That's 9 Impulse going down first. Wondering how that fight's going down in that building, because remember, we saw both teams just basically taking up that real estate without trying to overextend, so other teams must have rotated in their area. With a lot of these other teams now trying to force their way into this next circle, we could expect this circle to start pulling more to the south.
12 seconds left, and the ring will be officially closed. Everyone else will have the same intel that 100 Thieves has right now, which is the zone, well, it's rotating right south of them, which 100 Thieves is going to have to move here, have to ultimately force this fight. Down 1 to a fully stacked Alliance team. They're going to have to make some plays here. Havoc in hand for Anu alongside the Ava 8. And they did have the beacon intel, so they know where that zone is going. Can pop that beacon again to get more intel, which looks like exactly what Vaxlon's going to be doing right now. Going to be in storm while doing that, and actually not able to get the beacon info because it looks like he's getting tagged up instead. So they're trying to find a better rotation, because guess what? TSM is gatekeeping as well. We got TSM, Alliance, and 100 Thieves all in a 3-way fight here. This will be interesting.
TSM, though, are just overlooking some of the action that's going to be happening. I like this prediction from TSM, too, because if they do hold on to this building, they could contest all the other squads that are going to be rotating on the outer bands of this circle, such as 100 Thieves, Alliance, that could take a much longer approach through the rocks, so they'll have the natural cover of the rocks. I also see Aloba scooping things up from the pillboxes, so wondering who is that in the lobby rocking the Loba. Probably actually, it looks like it's C9 that are actually on the outskirts of TSM. So their backs are against the wall, but they're in a situation where they could get sandwiched by the likes of the former Burger Brigade, Moist, and Space Station Gaming, who are going to be coming in right behind them, as well as Alliance that could be coming in from the front, and that will be a green light for TSM to try to go in for a third party if they are in a positional advantage to do so, so that way they don't give up that real estate to start a fight.
Yeah, start a fight. A team that got 10th place in our last qualifier, barely snuck in. Yet another European team on display here. Dr. Blasts and Bambino, multinational team. Cloud9 running Loba? Question mark. A little bit of a change up for the C9 boys. I'd like to see, again, some more diversity in Legends. TSM still running the same Seer, Horizon, Valkyrie, a default comp that's been working fairly well for them. It didn't work as well yesterday, but obviously a Pro League win on Sunday was great. Optic with the late rotation from Skittle Cakes. And let's see, can they do the Optic special? Get Godspot with a late rotate yet again. Meanwhile, Tripods find themselves back where Optic previously were over in Jurassic Park.
Love how you highlighted the TSM composition, too. While we see some of these rotations through Jurassic Park, just for Raven out here, we want to see that fuse as we see Optic Gaming in a fight themselves. Arcstar is being flung in Duplex's direction. It's the Seer ult that's out. This is the same building that TSM actually was in. So I'm wondering, the Skyward Dive maybe from Noct set Optic Gaming up in this position?
Knocked, literally, you could breathe on him and he would get knocked. He's going to find a way to pop a shield bat. Looks like it's going to be the pressure and the black, or the Q that's going to actually give them some cover and force TSM not to push here. I'm surprised because TSM had such a damage advantage. Instead, they opt not to fly at Optic, and Optic's going to reset. They might just coexist on the top and bottom side of these floors now. But that was a huge advantage and opportunity for TSM. I don't know why they didn't push it.
I think they're scared because of the other squads in the area right now, so they just wanted to disengage to get maybe further intel. Yeah, of course, they're rocking the Seer with reps, but they do note that there are other teams in the area that they don't want to allow to ease their way in since the circle's closing in behind their backs. So Optic Gaming and TSM need to worry about the likes of Alliance that are also looking for an opportunity to third-party them. So we're going to have to see how they want to take this, as you see the C9 Black Market getting shot at by Noct, but he's got the blue Evil Shield, so he's got to take his time and not get taken out too early to engage in a lot of these aping opportunities for some of these teams.
Yeah, as you see it, 3 million Seer scans come through and just go to prove why you don't want to take this fight, because you're going to get third-party immediately. This building is actually interesting. Not even close to, a perfect analogy, but it kind of reminds me of the content building in Fragment East. It's constantly third-partied by people. And this building seems, especially in competitive Apex, it's so central. It's so easy to third party. As soon as teams hear them fighting, that this is going to happen. More teams are going to drop on them. More teams are going to fly at them. So neither of these teams want to be the first ones to start a fight.
Yeah, Optic was like, we already did this and we did it early. Now Vex Gaming wanted to get involved in the fight, but guess what? They took their Skyward Dive too late when TSM was forced off of the high ground into the first floor, right next to Vex Gaming in their landing spot from the Skyward Dive. Unlucky, though, is getting actually pretty lucky, hiding behind the knockdown shield with no squads trying to push into him. It's TSM that have him in their line of sight, but they're so fixated on the other squad that's trying to third party them through the windows.
Yeah, and I don't know if Unlucky knows there's a team right above him. I don't know why Optic hasn't even just peeked to try and look at this fight. Oh, no, never mind. I thought they were on the stairwell. Instead, he's to the left of that stairwell, but it looks like finally TSM will get the 3 kills and avoids third party. So well done from TSM right there. They got to be careful because that third party come from Optic could come momentarily, but the shield swaps will be there. Guard. All up to Rambo in a fight against Moist, and they will be eliminated after mopping up quite a bit of the lobby as well. So it is absolutely hectic here. One of the most fun and entertaining games of Stormpoint that we've seen with so much early and mid-game action. I'm enjoying it so far as Sweet gets another knock.
Yeah, and Space Station, by the way, we just talked about Space Station not too long ago, just got knocked out of the lobby as well. In 14th place, I believe, from what I saw. Moist Esports coming out on top after that previous fight, though, also highlights that they were under a lot of pressure. I know VZD had gotten involved at one point in that fight against the guard because I saw that G Dolphin had gotten a knock with the Sheila. So I could only imagine the positioning that guard was in the middle of that rotation, probably sandwiched between both of these teams, and C9 waiting for them on the other side.
Deed's going to get knocked back-to-back here after getting rezzed by Liffin of E6. Right before then, it was start a fight. So EU is trying to start a fight with NA with a kill on tripods, but Deed still hasn't been cleaned up yet. I'd love to check in that action with tripods, see exactly how they're faring. If we can take a look at Nick Merck's Deeds or gentrifying. As I say that, Vaxlon gets knocked by Skittlecakes of Optics. So that fight between TSM and 100 Thieves we saw foreshadowed, it's actually going to be Optic that joins in and gets the full elimination. TSM gets the final one on 100 Thieves. They are out.
Verhos with the bow check too, that's definitely going to be scary. We also saw real quick from Moist Esports on one of those teammates that they had the crated RE45. So remember, we are playing on the most recent patch, which is always exciting to see, as Start a Fight are also in some trouble. They were only rocking blue Evil Shields, it looked like, and they're going to be backing up after losing out on their Watson. E6 with their backs against the circle, but in a position where they know that it's cleared behind them. They're not going to get third party, but they're going to have to force their way beyond. What is this? Look at how many Watson fences there are to meet them on the other side of the bunker doors.
I just saw G2 Chaotic let up the kill feed. TSM's going to get taken out, so Chaotic's in this game. Not sure who he's playing with. Yuki's going to get a knock on Liffin. So it needs to be all up to the last two, Slayers and K-Swinny, as Alliance is doing such a good job putting pressure on them and staying alive. 6 squads remain here in this late game. We got Legolas taken to the sky here with the wide flank. Look at the push coming through. So well played from Alliance, but Yuki goes down in the meantime. They got to be careful for third party. Element 6 going to be eliminated. Just like that, Alliance cleans up and is able to hit reset here if they possibly can hold off this last and final member.
They had to shut that door on top of that player because it was an enemy squad looking to third party, while Elias needs to get Yuki right back in this fight. Nice gold knockdown shield to res Yuki with some additional health and some death boxes to work with. Now look at this. Start a fight, only having Blast on the other side. Moist still alive. So can Blast restabilize and maybe inch away towards these two squads? It doesn't look like it because now Moist is already getting ahead of the curve with this rotation.
Could you believe it? The Aussies come through, and just like ALGS champs and Split 2 playoffs, come and steal this win. We'll see if Moist can do it. They are now the new kings of Australia with, of course, one more team, kind of a rookie up-and-coming team. It's been giving them some trouble down there. But in this international lobby, where the Aussies have fared so well against EU, NA competition, can the Aussies do it again? Waltzy, Pricey, MT, Team Burger, C2 in their sights, and a couple teams nearby as well. 5 squads remain, and we're not even done with round 5 yet. This has been a super aggressive lobby as C9 is still alive.
C9 Ascend out here too, now looking to move in on top of Ascend. Let's not forget, Moist is right behind them as well, fixated on Alliance trying to force their way in. The B-mates with the Volt, and he's trying to hit by the triple take. Let's go off to the side. It's a little spicy. May as well call it the triple Takis. And C9 now playing up the low ground. They are going to be able to clean that up onto post kill, but can they get the finish? Look at the Newcastle. This is why Newcastle's so good. He wants to stop him so bad with the sear attack. He tries to get him. He makes the knock again. Can he get the hit fire shot on the triple take? He cannot. He needs some help. And Ascend get wiped out by C9. Chaotic coming in clutch.
Wow. Chaotic subbing for C9 Rocker, and talk about an impact. They're going to hit reset. Blast is still alive and ratting. So that's a top 3 finish for Start a Fight. It's Alliance, C9, and Start a Fight is a rat. Basically a 3v3 between C9 and Alliance. And I'm surprised Alliance was going to let C9 get full reset here, and they're just too busy looting up. They don't even know where people are. They're just randomly queuing rocks where no one's there.
Listen, it's information. Those missile swarms sometimes can let you know what shields they're rocking, how many people are there. If you could funnel them outside of that cover, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide when it comes to finding out that information. C9 also, remember, they are the team rocking the Loba. They're going to send out the black market for some shield shots. As you can see, Alliance versus C9 back-to-back. Our last remaining 2 squads for game number 1.
That's right. C9's been underperforming as of late. Last 2 days of competition have not gone well for them. They're playing with a sub here in Chaotic Much. Talk about the impact he's bringing to this team. They're going to be down to just 10 HP. And here comes the push from Alliance. Clearly an advantage for Alliance here as they take to the skies with the Horizon Lift. Good job by C9, healing back up for now. Here comes the fight. Effect goes in and is on high ground, untouched and absolutely melting. He's going to get 1 knock. But right after, it looks like C9's going to try and fight back. It's not enough, as Alliance will be your champion for game number 1, Vicky.
Love the approach for that fight, though. Not only coming in from the high ground off that gravity lift, but also try to take the 2 different angles so that way C9 is forced to scramble. An amazing performance from Alliance, as well as the fact in the Apex Legends competitive space. That's always nice to see because I get to see Moist Critical in the Smash Brothers scene. So seeing that diversity across the different games that I get to enjoy is always an enjoyable time. But they got to perform here because they were in the top 5, but we want to see more from this squad. I believe they got 5th exactly with 4 KP. So we're going to have to see what they end up doing as we get to take a look at all the other teams that are going to make their POIs and their appearances to see if we're going to see those 50-50s. And we are still getting that same 50-50 in barometer.
Looks like it's going to be a center, slightly north pole this time. So I like this. 2 very central zones, which means everyone has a chance to kind of rotate and play however they want to play, as opposed to Storm Point. Some of those northern zones can be absolutely rough to climb up because of the elevation disadvantages, much like we saw G2 do yesterday on Storm Point. It was one of the most insane rotate games I've seen G2 performed. Obviously no G2 today, but G2 Chaotic Much. Brit is playing alongside Cloud9. Going to be fun to watch them. Meanwhile, we're going to kick off with Alliance dropping over in Lightning Rod, their favorite drop spot here on Storm Point. They'll loot up and be pretty well kitted going into this central zone. And meanwhile, Corpa finds himself in a fight here again against the BR Demons. Again,
it's those early 50-50s that we've been seeing them popping off, as you can see in the feed right now. Cowboy Man, Fallout's favorite name out here, as Alliance are going to take their time. Corpa getting eliminated after that fight. The BR Demons are the ones that come out on top. Remember, this is the squad that fell first in game number 1, so they desperately needed this.
And boom, there you go. Big win for the BR Demons. Again, I believe this is Aiden and Reeds playing as miscellaneous gamer tags. Aim Wizard Express, Cowboy Man, 1988. Pretty sure he wasn't even a thought yet in 1988. I think that's probably Aiden, who's like 19, 20 years old. But I digress with gamer tags as we jump on over with OP, the Italians, making their rotate up.
BR Demons. I mean, we've seen name changes before, you know, shout out to Complexity Monsoon, who loves to troll sometimes in the lobbies.
Yep.
Saw his name just yesterday in the MFAM tournament. Definitely got a chuckle out of me. But I like the way that we get to now see the BR Demons approach this next circles because we didn't get to see this team come out on top from the 50-50 in game number 1. So this is the opportunity for them to make up for the loss of points that they were lacking in that game 1 moving into this game. Elevate also looking at another squad that's down below. They have the positional advantage, although no attachments or sight on that G7 yet. Golden is still trying to find some of these raw shots.
Yes, we saw one early fight. Last game, we saw 5 or so teams die by ring 3. We'll let match here with another central zone. And that's pretty common, actually, with these central zones. It means everyone's going to be converging and rotating, and everyone has to essentially fight on some area of the edge versus with the northern zones or the southern zones. There's a dead side of the ring where no teams are going to be coming from behind them, right? So in these central zones, you're more often to see early game fights for that reason. I'm excited to see if it happens again because that means, well, guess what? It's fun to watch, fun to cast. E8 works their way over to Stormcatcher, and not sure which team dropped in Stormcatcher, but they got to be careful for whichever team was originally here.
A lot of teams already making their next move. You can see Moist as well. Mentioned Stormcatcher. I believe that is a send that split drops Stormcatcher, and then you see Kashir usually landing a little bit outside of that POI from that empty lot that's close to the vaults. So Moist Esports, though, are bunkering down. This is one of the other teams that are rocking the Watson Seer comp. Of course, the Valkyrie used for rotations as well as beacon control in case the Seer isn't able to access that, but they keep pinpointing the squad that's above them. It's going to be Elevate. As you saw the guard take to the skies, it's going to be C9 actually making the rotation right underneath guard. So that was a good call on guard and the timing on the skyward deploy, but is C9 going to be able to capitalize off of where they're going to land? Because you could expect a lot of fighting to be happening here soon.
Yeah, that's an interesting rotate from guard. And we'll see, obviously, in terms of zone if that ends up benefiting them. But they actually worked slightly outside of the zone. They did get a little bit north. I think the zone's going to continue to pull north, so maybe they know something that I don't. But it's certainly an interesting rotation. Not sure why they took that, but G2 got to profit and take that spot right after. My man Naughty's not getting any luck here with the poke and prod on the team that was Valculting right below them. But it looks like C9 wants to go and approach pretty much exactly where Waltzy and Moist is. So this might be a fight that ensues. Gent's going to get knocked to reps.
That's actually huge right now. That fight happening in the feed. Currently, you see Guild also getting a knock onto E6 as NRG fighting for their lives without Nathan here. You see the knock from Sweet. He's so good at landing all these faraway shots on the car. He's insane. E6 get wiped out. Thanks to Guild getting the follow-up with the G7. Sweet cleaning things up with the car. Now they're going to be able to get Nathan right back up before a third party is inevitable. But if there is no squad to contest him from behind, they'll have access to that beacon, which is great news for them because they can have that next set of information as another Skyward dive. It's Team Girl making an appearance over their heads.
Yeah, that's right. NRG says, E6, y'all like to fight on edge. Welcome to NA, where we can fight better than you can. And they take that 3v3 fight. Obviously, maybe slightly high ping for the E6 boys, so I can't be too critical, but kudos to NRG and winning that one. Team Girl decided to enter that fray. Don't know if they're going to be the next ones in the NRG hit list. We shall see, but C9 with the Loba ult trying to get whatever scraps they possibly can here, as it looks like they only have gray shields to their name.
Moist are not giving up this spot, and this is a good call from them because very similar to what C9's doing, you know that C9's not going to be moving from this spot either, but they are getting contested as start of fight is across the field from them. You can see them swapping Evo shields real quick before deciding where they want to engage because they're still rocking at least one white Evo. On the other side, though, with the Loba comp on C9, that's how you know C9 isn't planning on going anywhere anytime soon because they're just going to be able to post up very similar to what we see from Team Liquid when they run the Loba comp and not move and just, instead of denying themselves opportunity to loot, they're just going to rely on the black market instead. Oh, that's annoying.
He got his fence canceled. Seer just likes to grief everybody, is apparently the truth here. Bambino's trying to just get some intel for any team that might be creeping up on them, but they should be all good. Bambino, Doctor, and Blasts, formerly Eternal, got signed by Starterfight Esports. Congratulations to them, as they are in the Pro League as well. Here comes Effect and Alliance, your winners from last game, in a fight against Optic in zone. One member goes down, I believe. This is a huge fight over towards Wall, I believe. It looks like Hockey's is going to get the first knock, and that's a full kill on Knocked.
This is a really good fight, though, for Alliance to take because they're continuing on their domination against a team like Optic Gaming. Huge with not going down first. Now, as you can see, Hockey's with a nice little cheeky wall hop, but guess who made their appearance in this fight? It's going to be Vex, and there's a third party coming up behind them, too. Garth may get involved in this. We're going to have to see. Vex Gaming looking to fully send it onto Alliance and stop their domination despite them cleaning up some KP. They need to put a dent to their plans because this is a team that's currently holding #1 in the overall standings.
Yeah, that's right. Nice tank right, not over in Wall. I saw the same building, but it's actually up in the northeast side of the map here. Lucky is going to join, and nice opportunity. No, not going to get the knock. Can he push through? It looks like Alliance gets full eliminated, and Optic survives, I think, for now. You wonder for how long, as they did lose Knocked, I believe. But somehow I think Optic snuck out of that, unless they got taken out as well. Vicky, did you see?
I did not see them get knocked out, but I did see that the finisher did come out in the feed from one of the knocks that they had gotten on one of the members of Alliance, as TSM are also in a fight. As you can see, E8 looking to be in some trouble, but wondering what's going on there with Optic. We're going to have to take a look later as Elevate get completely wiped out by TSM. Well as some assistance from Rambo from the guard. So guard's still in the area. Remember, we also saw them take a skyward dive out from the low ground to get up here originally. So maybe sharing this real estate with TSM from underneath.
Yeah, TSM is just running through teams in this competition. They're clearly pissed at their underperformance yesterday. They want to come out swinging. They saw NRG's tweet, giving them some BM, a little bit of friendly trash talk, and they said, yeah, let's show you what we're made of here. As TSM started very, very strong. 10 points last game with 6 or 7 kills. This game, they already have themselves 2 to 5 kills, wiped 2 teams. TSM looking solid. I wonder if Tripods got fully wiped or they just got gent. I don't know if they ended up getting the kill. I saw a knock in the kill feed.
I do like to give an update, though, that it is Optic Gaming who are done from this lobby. They went out in that fight originally.
They are dead. Wow.
And they are dead. So Optic also went down very early. This is great news for the likes of TSM. Unfortunately for Alliance, they can't continue on this domination in this game as they did in game #1, but take your eyes and feast them on TSM holding onto this higher ground because not only are they rocking great loot to work with full already purple Evos, but they're also on the high ground. Depending on where the circle is going to be pulling, though, it could favor guard. It could favor where Rambo and company are already taking up this real estate. Because sometimes you see this final circle pull towards the south of where you see Rambo stationed up in. We actually saw it be one of the biggest games in the championships over at LAN that Dark Zero was able to clutch out on the outskirts of the fence line of that lot. So sometimes we do see the circle end in that direction.
Yeah, that's I was questioning guards rotate, but it actually ended up being a really solid rotate. They predicted the zone getting pulled northeast, and that's kind of where it pulled, but it looks like they're going to have to move here in a moment because we get some intel here on the zone. Thank you to our ops team. This is a great view as TSM is in God spot. Really, really impressive from them to rotate to God spot, get some kill points on the way. Full purple evil shields for all three of them. TSM really well positioned to win this game here. You see Space Station still alive as well.
Yeah, Space Station still actually trying to take some shots at BR Demons, who are in the middle of their Skyward Dive rotation. Look at this, though. Look at this hillside in favor for start of fight. I mean, come on. You guys are taking up so much space. You guys aren't giving even an inch of it to any of these other teams that need to share this hillside.
Yeah, meanwhile, kudos again to our obs team. They saw that NRG versus Tripods potential fight percolating over in Cascade Falls. Meanwhile, Matafe and Unlucky are going to join in on a fight against Guard. 2 knocks are ready. Vexed is continuing to run through this lobby with the aggressive play. Meanwhile, Frex gets a double kill, a double knock, and the Guard is out.
Guard keep getting caught when it comes to these teams forcing their way into their rotation, into their real estate. They were stationed up inside the building for a long time, and it's 100 Thieves that wanted to ease their way into that building. Not only, it's only Scurry, who's running for his life, dancing around other teams because there's another squad right behind them. They just put out the Seer. Oh, I don't think Scurry can get away for long.
And there it is. 100 Thieves eliminated, again to the hands of SSG. Firebeavers joins the mix and gets the third and final kill. Meanwhile, Space Station Gaming find themselves having to run all the way back through zone. It's going to be a pretty far rotation for them. Right behind this mountain. Going to be putting themselves in a difficult spot trying to decide how to play this.
This is a tough situation for Space Station to be in, especially since they're running a bit of an unorthodox comp, but they're going to get circle kept by not 1, by not 2, but 3 squads in this area. Fire Beavers, you can see VZD in the area as well, sharing up that real estate on the first floor. Rather, the second floor, it looks like, actually, here. Oh, no, it is the first floor. The second floor is going to be in favor for Fire Demons. But with the Rampart composition that we've seen G-Dolphin dominate these lobbies before, we know that he's looking to grieve people with the Sheila. We know it's going to come. We know it's inevitable. And he's already got the Red Evil Shield, so let's see what's going to happen here. He doesn't have it just yet, but the Gravity Lift into the Demon Rampart is definitely going to come out from this team.
That's right. VZD, different roster than we saw in the qualifiers, playing with Mandy and 9 Imps in this one. But still rocking Rampart. G-Dolphin says, if you're going to join my team, you're going to play my way. Still has the Rampart in hand, plus the Horizon Lift, like you said, to see the Sheila melting nightmare that is your nightmare ensue.
I always enjoy watching G-Dolphin, too, I must say.
That's
very
fun.
Entertaining personality in the Apex Legends competitive space. Very positive
Really
attitude. As he's also, he's very smart and also roasting some people across the field with the flatline. Again, nice to note that the Anvil receiver is back in competitive Apex, so that's also something to see as G-Dolphin is rocking that flat line. You can see the R301 in the hands of Mandy. He's going to be able to start rotating right alongside him. Vex, though, still alive with Unlucky. He counts his blessings. I don't know if his name should be Unlucky. He's always alive. He's always one of the last ones alive for Vex at the very least.
Yeah, here's the BR Demon still alive as well. Oh my gosh, not missing a shot is the mischievous man himself. Gonna knock on G-Dolphin. So Rampart and Sheila out of this one for now. It's gonna be all up to 9 Imps and Mandy to go big if they possibly can. But BR Demons, I think, came out of nowhere. I'm not sure if they knew that they were there. Here comes Mandy. He gets a knock on Mischievous. Oh my goodness, the beams from Aim Wizard Express, living his name to the extreme. Aim Wizard indeed. Aim bots is what it seems like. Oh my god. Remember the computer checking this man?
That tracking was actually really nice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, something that really does help out with something like that is the Digi-Threat. That Digi-Threat really comes in clutch for close to mid-range fights like that. So awesome tracking right there from the Aim God Wizard himself. Now we get to see Outplayed, though. Outplayed? They got outplayed because they're not even able to recover those manners. They're actually going to be playing off a little corner as a solo. So it does look like we do have some solos in the areas. Remember, we took a look at Vex Unlucky, who was just hiding behind some crates. Mandy's still catching some people in the middle of this rotation, by the way. So more squads have made their appearance on that right side of this next circle. It's also nice to note, too, with this circle pulling all the way up to the side, that it
Oh
is
boy.
actually leaving the real estate of where we were predicting the circle to pull. So it's actually pulling more so towards the bunker that is command center than it is the 2 buildings of Stormcatcher to the right.
Yeah, and this is so interesting. Cloud9 start a fight. Again, great early rotation and zone prediction for them. In the same exact spot, Frex is going to get a knock on. Oh, it's going to be actually a BR Demons. They get the full kill. So Space Station, under so much duress of 2 teams, start a fight in Cloud9, manages to get a full squad wipe on a team. But now the first knock comes in, playing with Bangalore. That smoke is coming so handy right now for them. Only thing possibly keeping them alive is the smoke of Bangalore. If the Digi-Threat isn't the craft for the next team, why they're running it.
And they're stuck between 2 squads, too. Yeah. Yes, the Bangalore comes in clutch when it comes to the smoke, and the Rolling Thunder to at least give them some insurance and space. Nice. Look at this! Sear tack into Sear tack into tack into the Arc Star and the grenade. They can't catch a break right now. They're in such a bad spot, and Certified want to get involved, but they don't want to give up too much ground because they've held this real estate for so long uphill that they know that there's still another team on the other side of the hill.
Yeah, I can't believe she's still alive. And I saw a Sear, I saw Bangalore. I don't know if they had a Valk or Horizon as their third, but I think it's a Horizon. So they don't have a Valk ult, which explains why they're in the position that they're in. NRG enters the fray and finally gets the full elimination. But NRG is not going to be in a similar position that SSG was. I mean, they're going to be having to come up against all of Cloud9 and all of Start a Fight with a longbow in the hands of Doxers.
Oh, Sweet was literally one shot. And that missile swarm would have been due, but it doesn't matter. He can't protect themselves. In the middle, throwing down the Seer. Oh, energy is only left on Nathan to come in clutch. He's fighting the Beamage with the Havoc. The Rampage charged up. He's hiding behind the knockdown shield. Peekaboo, I see you. But it's not enough. It was one shot. He left C9 so low and started a fight. Finally, with the patience paying off, they were able to swoop in at the perfect time to get the third-party wipe.
EU continues to profit in these lobbies. Last game it was Alliance. Can it be Start a Fight this game? They have their tallest task ahead of them, though. It's going to be a tough rotation. Finally, Moist says, okay, we'll leave our little bunker and enter this fight, I guess. Never mind, psych, and goes right back to where they came from.
Listen, I'm the one in the middle of a tropical storm, but I don't know. That looked like it was, the winds were definitely at least 60 miles an hour in that fight. That was insane. Vex Gaming also getting taken out. Let's not forget that TSM have been over here in this area of Stormcatcher this entire game. They have not left this rooftop, and they have claimed and planted the flag on top of this building, letting every team know that they cannot contest them.
Yeah, TSM, such a smart rotation from them. Moist is able to get control of the other side of that map, though. Start a fight right below them. So both teams, I think, hit their Valk ult and reposition, and now we got a 3-way fight. TSM, if they can play their cards right, can get a massive win here. If they can survive this fight against Moist, avoid third party, and make it to late game, this will be a 12 to 15 kill plus first place finish for them. That's a big if. Team Girl, who is near NRG, actually makes the rotation, out-rotates NRG somehow. We didn't see exactly how, but Nick Merckx, Gent, both going to get taken out to reps. It looks like the tripods will fall in 5th.
Looked like Team Girl actually just opted to maybe use a skyward dive to get into this position before NRG was taken out under on the low ground of the hill. So that's huge as TSM clean up another team being tripods. You saw that Nick Merckx was the first to get taken down, and so TSM not giving up this real estate despite the circle pulling away from them, but real good props on Team Girl to call out this final circle positioning from a circle and a half ago, because they did make that rotation not super early, but not too late either.
TSM closing in on their prey. It's Moist next on the TSM hit list. They've already taken out 3-4 teams, Vex being one of them, Tripods being another, etc., etc. TSM wants Moist now. Do they have, is Pricey still alive is my question. I didn't see him in the overhead view right there. So I don't know when they would have lost Pricey. I didn't catch it myself, but Moist might be down to a team of 2. Not exactly sure.
I want to see the positioning from Reps, because Reps is playing so well, and they have information of the team that's underneath them too. This is amazing news. Look at the beamage from Burhost with this R301. He's still going. This team scattered like flies. They said, all right, nah, you got it. You can take the real estate. This is your building officially. And look at TSM still continue on the pressure. They're not letting them go. It was the 2-man squad from Moist Esports that gets cleaned up from TSM. And Reps, look at this. He's got 6 KP. He assisted in 2 of those kills. He's playing so well this game.
Yeah, this Seer intel has been so helpful for TSM. Any team that's trying to just creep and coexist can't, because they're immediately spotted out by TSM, and TSM is immediately punishing them. Playing so well. 6 kills for Reps, at least 10 plus for TSM, dominating this game, and it all comes down to these last 3 squads. You know, Start a Fight is right below TSM, is one of them, and Team Girl is the other.
No, TSM, though, have so much KP to their name, and they're finally dropping down. They're giving up the ground of the high ground because Hao actually dropped down first with some split pushing here from TSM. They lose out on Rebs and Hao. Girls needs to start getting closer into the circle. He's going to get circle kept by Team Girl, but they need to get the KP beforehand. And Girls' team is the winners. They didn't get the amount of KP that we saw TSM do, but taking that dub means a free 12 points in their pocket, as well as cleaning up the last kill of Verhos. We are zooming to the skies.
Yeah, and they got a kill on MT. They picked up a few kills along the way, so a really solid game from Team Girl, all about positioning and rotates. A great rotate, great positioning, and they were able to basically just win that game for free. SSG, 100 Thieves, what's your favorite team? Who do you want to perform here in game number 3? Let us know your thoughts and who you're rooting for.
Let's go. Let's not waste any more time, Paula. I was waiting for this, and we are finally here. World's Edge, Optic Gaming landing where they always land over at Big Mod. They have the beacon over in Lava City, and a 50-50 right now with C9 moving in. I'm wondering if this is against Vex, because I believe I did see somewhere where there was going to be a 50-50 contention with C9 maybe, but looks like they're just running away, wondering which squad is above them currently.
Yeah, it's going to be a big fight. Ascend is fighting the BR Demons at the top right of your screen. And BR Demons have their way with Ascend as well. So with that said, we have our first team eliminated on World's Edge. We have another potential team eliminated here over in Climatizer as Matafi is going to get the first knock on Stay Naughty.
Oh, Stay Naughty, and now Zach falls literally one shot right now, and he manages to finally finish them off as it is Vex Gaming that's going to be able to take it on top of them. So this is one of the 50-50s that we get to witness go down here on World's Edge. Another 50-50 like we saw in the kill feed with Ascend. A nice little angle here from Vex. Tyler, ooh, cleaning up the rest of C9. Chaotic did not see it coming.
And that is episode 1 of what I think is going to be a multi-episode series here between Cloud9 and Vex. I expect Cloud9 to try and fight back for the spot in the next game. Obviously, they're not going to ego chow because they're not fighting for the spot for Pro League. They're in different Pro League bubbles, which is why we see some contests like this. But Cloud9, I think, has a slight ego and will want to make sure they can claim this spot and give it at least one more chance.
I don't blame them. C9's been doing a really good job. They're overall ranked 4th in the overall leaderboards after those first 2 games. So they're looking to try to get as much KP as possible, but that's not one way to start the game off if you do want to have that as an end goal. So Vex Gaming are going to come out on top. And nice to note, by the way, that this is going to be a 50-50 that Vex Gaming is going to have to deal with all day long. It's not just World's Edge. We saw that they had a 50-50 that they were dealing with over in Storm Point 2. So Vex Gaming literally coming out of the woodworks and deciding to choose violence when they decided to wake up.
That's right. Well, things are going to slow down a little bit. And we always talk about the roller coaster analogy in Apex and Battle Royales in general. You have the first drop of the roller coaster is the early game where you see some 50-50s, and then you're slowly working your way back up to the top of that roller coaster where things slow down here in the mid-game, and then you have some mid-game fights, some third parties, and then you have the big drop at the end. Well, as things slow down, I'll read some of the comments here in chat. We got a lot of love for tripods. What's up, Nordhauser? Stroopwaffle showing some love for the tripods. We got Corrupts rooting for the tripods as well. Stroopwaffle also rooting for Sweet, Exist, and NRG. Take Me to Church showing some love for the Guard. Team Girl and Quinzel. What's up, Catsith, as well. So big shout out to every single one of y'all coming through and first-time chatters in particular. And I agree with Blopabap. That's a really good comment. C9 needs a mental refresh. Seems like they're in their own heads. That's a really, really good point. They've been really just on a slump the last couple of days.
And they have the opportunity and the talent to do it. So hopefully after getting sent to the lobby and losing out that 50-50 that they'll have some time to refresh. G7 Scout going in the hands of Vaxon, the 103 boys now making their rotation through the north side of these train tracks. They also have information on where the circle is going to be pulling, so maybe a skyhook finish. We're going to have to see, because if it is a skyhook finish, expect the game to get a lot slower as another fight. It's Elevate Gaming. It's been fighting constantly for this early game. Things will definitely slow down if we have real estate that we need to share, but we do see the Fuse taking too much damage. He stood in front of the thermite grenade and BR Demons that clean up the Elevate Gaming squad.
Yeah, BR Demons are frying right now. That's their 5th kill or 6th kill of the lobby. And this is the thing about BR Demons. I mean, we haven't seen a really good top 5 performance from them, or even top 10, I don't think. But we know that their highs are an absolute high. Actually, you might not know that. People might not be aware of this team. Their highs are very, very high. I mean, they're some of the most talented ranked in arenas actually back in the day. Grinders in the game. They're very high skilled. We know that when it comes to taking 3v3 fights, they're really some of the best in the world. As they get more comp experience, they're just going to get better and better. And Reed's, Aiden, Vayne, former champion, they could be a force to be reckoned with if they can get the right practice in by the end of Pro League.
Very good point here as we look at Moist Esports that are holding the spot that usually we see Energy hold in for these type of circles. Hanging out in the corner where Energy likes to take the 50-50 rotation chance when it comes to these circles is usually a good call because you have the opportunity to wrap around either the train tracks or the rock formation behind you and then get closer into Skyhook in case that is where it's going to be pulling. Or we have seen circles end in this spot too, so this is a good early spot to hold because you don't really have to worry about getting sandwiched, especially if you're running a type of comp like this with the Watson.
Yeah, this is the same spot we saw Energy hold yesterday in the Nick Merckx tournament, the same endgame circle and zone. And they ended up winning that one against Furia, if I remember correctly. So Moist finds himself what potentially could end up being God spot. Especially if you're a Watson, you have the ability to really hold that, maintain that. No one's going to try and push you, as those Watson fences will be fairly well protected. So MT is basically like a physics major right now, making all types of shapes and signs and doing a good job maintaining control here on this side of the map. Meanwhile, quick clarification. Thank you for Mazda for clarifying in the chat. Yes, 1 game on Broken Moon, winner take all $1,500. 8 games on Storm Point the World's Edge.
Yep. Nice to note right there too for a lot of our viewers now tuning in. Icy falling incredibly low with the Seer ult out and about, looking to catch any of these stragglers that are caught inside of that radius. You can see the teams now rotating from the train tracks, so he did get a nice hit with the grenades. It was on 2 knockdown shields, though. I'm thinking there's a Newcastle squad on the other side right there, because we saw the knockdown shield hit points once you saw that grenade getting tossed out, as they're still putting in some pressure on the other side.
What was this guy trying to draw signs? There's an S. I think he's trying to give us a message, chat. S stands for moist. I don't know. You tell me. The Moist squad with the Watson setup of the century. Meanwhile, NRG right next to them, wanting that same spot, but not able to get it because Moist rotated there. SOS, yeah, exactly. Superman, I like that. Thank you for helping me out here, chat. NRG wanted that same spot that Moist took, but instead they're going to be forced to stay within tunnel, and that means they got to be careful watching both sides of their back because they could easily get flanked. Looks like 100 Thieves and Anmu also find themselves in a nearby position. They drop Skyhooks. This is a pretty clear and clean rotation for them. And we have 100 Thieves, NRG, Moist, and Outplayed, the Italian squad, all within a vicinity here. They're going to coexist, but look where the zone's pulling. We all predicted right. It's the same exact zone we saw yesterday again on World's Edge for the Nick Merckx tournament. Kudos to all these teams for predicting efficiently. One thing that's interesting that's obviously a little different than the Nick Merckx tournament is Nick Merckx and the tripods. They actually dropped Skyhook yesterday, and that continues to be a theme for them. Unfortunately, they're brand new to this pro lobby, so they don't get to claim their own drop spot unless they really want to fight for it, which they don't want to have to go through that madness of having to ego a team for 6 weeks straight. So instead, they're just flexing. They're dropping in different spots every single week based on their pro league matchups, which honestly is tough to do. And kudos to them for being able to do so, because that means you're not able to practice your rotates. You're not able to practice the same strats. You have to do something different every single time, which is difficult. You don't get to the repetitions that other teams get.
I really like how you highlight that, because it's a great opportunity to also try different things, though, when you're not in these ALGS pro lobbies. Yeah, you are denying yourself the opportunity to practice those rotations, but it's the adaptability that comes out of having to figure a way around that situation for that squad. So a lot of nice adjustments coming out of tripods as E6 are just taking their time inside of this building. By the way, rocking the lifeline. Seeing a lot of lifeline recently within these lobbies throughout this week. It's always a nice flavor for me because you see the care package out, blocking the door. I mean, listen, even if you're not running a bunker down character, may as well be that makeshift cover that the lifeline care packages could bring for you and your team.
Well, you say a lot of lifelines. It's actually the same exact lifeline in the same team.
True,
lifeline
true.
In E6. Don't get me wrong, I wish we had a little more people that were willing to take risks like that. Maybe we will. Maybe they'll make it popular, and then, the Watson and Newcastle comp started with one team, 100 Thieves. Seer and Horizon comp started with one team, Furia. So maybe if that works to success, other teams will start copying it soon.
Yeah, and the reason why that is because the lifeline, as you were mentioned actually on one of the broadcasts, it doesn't get shut down from the Seer tactical, which obviously having a lobby full of Seers, it could come in clutch, but then you're denying yourself an opportunity for having a better pawn in this composition. And that's why a lot of these teams haven't been comfortable enough to be able to experiment that way. So Alliance taking to the skies, looking to go in for a rotate outside of Trials into Skyhook. You see start a fight, bunker down in these buildings too. And this is what I was talking about before, where if the circle ends up pulling more towards the middle on the north, or rather the southern side of the open part of the tunnel, then a lot of these teams would either get caught in the middle of those rotations or it would slow things down exponentially because a lot of these teams are already inside these buildings. VZD are also getting shot at from a distance, still rocking the rampart, but they're taking their time because they're on the outskirts of the circle and they're getting shot at from epicenter.
Squad's already eliminated, and it looks like VZD trying to find the 6th. But will they take this fight is the question, because they risk third party if they do so. Oh my god, look at the quick snap right there from 9 Impulse, but not going to get the damage he needs. And it's looking scary. Guess what? It's TSM nearby, so TSM currently has the advantage. Not necessarily with Hal knocked. Sorry, I didn't realize I was looking at the bottom left of my screen. A little UI glitch, because it looks like they have 2 knocked already.
Oh, looks like okay. I haven't seen that one ever, but you know, first time for everything, I guess. But it looks like the third party actually rolled in the middle of that fight here, Fallout. So TSM are looking to back away right now after losing out on Hal earlier on in that fight. And you can see with the way that Reps is scouting the perimeter with the Seer heartbeat sensor to make sure that they could disengage to then safely re-engage without a fourth party being a threat.
That's right. We'll see if they can sneak a res on Hal. Looks like they're going to try and commit to it. Rep's going to be the one all meant to hold down and make sure no one's pushing them. As I say that, though, he's going to be getting all the loot he possibly can from that loot box. And bam, TSM is back and alive and well. Meanwhile, nice rotate from tripods all the way down from launch site where they're dropping this game. They make their way into Skyhook.
And look at the buildings going in favor for some of these teams. Just holding down the fort. This is what I was expecting here from Skyhook, but I do think that this circle will inevitably start pulling off to the side on the outskirts of that fence line, closer to where Start a Fight is. We're going to have to see, but that'd be great news for the teams that have already taken up the real estate inside of the train tracks. More so doom, though, for teams like Outplayed that are rocking the Cossack, by the way. I was thinking maybe Girl would rock the Cossack because we have seen Girl rock the Cossack in their team comps on World's Edge. But, you know, Outplayed actually doing something similar, actually rocking with the Cossack instead of the Watson. So that's interesting to see, but they're not in that circle, so they're going to have to start inching forward.
I see you, Daft Sound, in the chat. Format is 4 games World's Edge, 4 games of Storm Point, 8 games total, plus a bonus game 9. Winner take all $1,500 at the end. $50,000 tournament, $20,000 for first. Top 4 gets paid. Top 5. Take that back. Top 5. I just crushed that, though.
Oh, yeah, you did. Nailed it. Nailed it. S-tier Fallout out here, guys. One of the best of the business for a reason, as we get to take a look at one of the best out here, too. Tripods making their debut over in the ALGS Pro League, looking to continue on their domination as a full squad, playing against some insane names here. That crypto drone got deleted. I don't know what happened to it, but I saw it just immediately blow up. I hear another one. Oh, in the middle of that game.
Code Rock? Was that a troll?
All right, okay.
Like one of our observers, though.
All right. It's okay. That was one of the observers. We're still in this, guys. Don't worry. All these teams still
I still don't know what Code Rock is, though.
I don't know. Maybe it's the Rock bursting through these doors or something. I don't know. TSM got bursted through, though, too, because you can see right here, BR Demons actually deleted them. So TSM, unfortunately, out of this lobby in 14th. We saw that they were down how early on. Don't think they were even able to get him back up after getting his banner, but looks like they're completely out of this lobby for right now.
Yeah, Crypto Drone's going to come through. I'm guessing that's the guard. It might be a European team running Crypto as well. Someone said we have a Gibraltar, Valkyrie, and Caustic. What is this, 2021? I love that reference. Big shout out to OP, holding down the old school meta. Keeping a close eye here on Deeds, Nick Merckx, and Gent on low ground. See how they decided to play this. They're in zone right now, really well positioned. So kudos to them for getting this positioning. The Watson fences certainly help.
You hear the EMP, though, about to roar around and completely delete all the hard work our poor Watson went out of her way to do. Nick Merckx has been sticking to the Watson, though, for some time since before the Pro League had started. And I like this because not only were they testing out the different POIs like we were highlighting here, Fallout, they've also been trying out different compositions to make sure that their strategy in holding these final circle positioning actually is a lot better of a time.
Yep. And that's where, you know, if you just saw where they were, Team Tripods, I agree with you. It's good to have seen them commit to the Watson. They ran a little bit. They went back to Seer yesterday on Broken Moon. It kind of worked out well for them. But I like that they're still committing to this play style. Catalyst could be really interesting right now in the position that tripods are in. On that low ground, the doors are broken out, reinforcing those doors. I think Catalyst would be even better if you can make a new door. Basically, like right below those stairs, and, make makeshift cover. Make her a little bit more viable, but I feel like she's just not going to be viable and competitive, unfortunately.
That would be crazy. I mean, you could fortify right there, but yeah, that would be crazy.
Fortify. Like right at the bottom of these stairs, right? Catalyst puts the door up. Good luck.
That'd be crazy. That's basically the makeshift cover I could see as a strategy with caustic barrels before you're able to just completely annihilate them, like without needing to shoot the base. Some makeshift cover right there that you could work around, but again, less caustic we've been seeing for all the right reasons, because the Watson out here allows you to bunker down better now that those caustic nerfs rolled out a few seasons ago. 100 Thieves also rocking the Watson, as we can see BR Demons, the Demons that took out TSM, in a lot of trouble themselves now. Looks like Energy have their names right over their heads. Aim Wizard, can he be a miracle worker? Nope, it's going to be BR Demons that get taken out by Energy. There's only so much cover you could work with right there behind a crate.
That's right. 10 squads remaining. Agreed with Cheetah. Absolute wholesome chat today. Big shout out to Crime New. Thank you for the kind words about the casting. Welcome to the chat, Crime New. And let's get it. NRG. 10 squads remain. Full Evo shield for Nathan. Gilderson's only a blue to work with, but it's Gilderson's we're talking about. He'll level that thing up ASAP. Rocky. They're going to find themselves a nice pick coming through as well. We don't get to see the kill feeds. I'm not sure who that is. It's Pricey of Team Moist. So Moist actually thinks that zone's going to pull all the way north. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It pulls to Skyhook. So the teams that predicted Skyhook were correct. And teams like Tripods are going to profit alongside SAF and a couple others.
But Energy says, it's okay, see you later. We got the Skyward Dive, so it's not going to be an issue for us. They won't get contested on the outskirts of the circle. This is why Valkyrie will always be good. Despite those nerfs, having this as an ult is such a good get-out-of-jail card, but it could also bring its own risk. The 50-50s, as we see them landing on the building, where so many squads were contesting originally, where are you going to go? Where are you going to fight for land? This is so difficult with so many Watsons in the area.
That's right. Here comes Nathan last alive. He's going to get taken out and shut down by the hands of E6. It's their rivals. Over in EMU, plays with a similar playstyle of constantly trying to fight, much like NRG. And K, Swinny, and Slayers and Liffen are going to get themselves a few more KP. Taking out NRG with the quick rotate on Valkyrie. That's, again, the reality of rotating late Valk ults. You sometimes get punished, much like we just saw from NRG right there. 100 Thieves staying in tunnel as opposed to opting to fight like NRG did. Now in a much better position because they rotated right out of that tunnel onto train tracks and they find themselves in a decent spot. Still going to be a pretty tough rotation for them.
Yeah, it's difficult because they're out in the open, but at least they're approaching from the high ground, and it's like what you mentioned before. Those risky 50-50s with the Skyward Dive, I mean, they got hit with the quickness, literally. They landed on top of that building, thought that they could get the free real estate. Watson said no, and then E6 was ready for them on the other side of that building. So, difficult spot as another team's actually playing underneath 100 Thieves. This team doesn't have the luxury of just being safe between a building. So they're going to be playing on the outskirts of this rock, and they're going to have to rotate out eventually as Axelon falls so incredibly low. They need to back up, get some makeshift cover behind this truck before making their next move to rotate into that circle.
Walt's going to be the last alive solo rat for Moist. By the way, shout out to Alliance, Logan, every single one of y'all with the intel on effect. Sounds like an absolute demon. Excited to see if he continues to play with this Alliance squad or what they decide. What the story is. And also, what's the Alliance, what's the story of Vice? Is he just taking a personal break, or is it a team decision to try something new? The intel there would be awesome. I actually didn't have the full story. I didn't want to make sure I reflect and can represent him properly and Alliance properly on broadcast. So we jump back into the game here. Tripod's going to get taken out in 9th place by SSG. They grief them, but they get eliminated right after. So unfortunate situation. Start a fight once again. They're going to be the ones that profit as a result. They did it last game, and they're going to do it again here. But as I say that, Bambino goes down as well.
Oh, this is huge here with Bambino going down and the EMP coming out too. Oh, the EVA 8 fighting its shots. Now you have no ammo though. What are you going to do here if you're start a fight? You're lacking ammunition. You're lacking a teammate as an extra head to help you out, and the circle's closing in behind you. You got to get moving soon, but you also need some extra loot if you have some death boxes to work with.
That's right. Start a fight down to a team of 2. Here comes an E6 versus 100 Thieves fight. E6 going to take them out as well. E6 is just running through every single top North American team right now. As they do it again, EU over NA for now. Waltzy still ratting. The guard is still alive. That's the crypto griefing that we've seen come through. 5 squads remain, and Start a Fight's one of them. 2 or 3 European teams versus 2 or 3 North American.
This is insane. The clash between these regions is always so enjoyable to watch. 5 squads left with Start a Fight only having that one lone rat. It's okay, we're still back in the game. That was just our observers. Optic Gaming also still left in this lobby.
Oh.
See the guard holding onto the high ground. They have such a good position if you're the guard here. This is honestly God spot. They are going to have to rotate eventually, but this is a good spot where they can take their time and actually isolate all the squads that are funneled outside of the buildings next door to them.
You know, these European teams are playing on a slight server disadvantage. These are on North American servers. So Moist playing from Australia. SAF, Doctor last alive on his team playing from EU. E6 alive playing on far servers as well. Advantage guard right now in terms of positioning. Like you said, they do have quite the God spot. But the zone is pulling over to where E6 is. So E6 have a great opportunity to potentially win this game here. I think they do have a win condition from the positioning and zone rotate.
Let's be patient and see the circle closing in behind their back soon. See guard making in some pings so that way they could see which of these squads they're sharing that real estate next to them. Like you mentioned before, the Rat here from Waldsea from Moist Esports. They got to get out of that building soon with the circle closing in. EMP opportunity here. I love the position of the crypto drone though. You can see it being right here. It's not going to get destroyed. It's not going to get contested because they want to utilize that EMP once the circle's to their backs.
That's right. 4 squads left. Waltzy's going to get taken out. So the one single Rat, I believe it was Waltzy, might have been Doctor of SAF. Not sure exactly which one, but nonetheless, 4 squads remain. Optic, Guard, either SAF or Moist, and last but not least, E6. Arcane's going to pop one more syringe just for good measure. E6 going to take out Moist, now down to our last 3 full teams.
E6 sending out these arc stars. Here comes that EMP from the guard. E6 gotta look above your heads. Slayer's falling low, but it is the lifeline. You don't have drone though. Drone is out of commission for the next 30 seconds. And the grenade right when the shield swap came out. E6 in a lot of trouble as guard are looking to take the dub.
And it's the final 1v1 for the bread. It's actually Optic Gaming who does it. They enter the party late. They enter the party with perfect timing. And Optic, I believe, is a team of 2, are going to win this one. Huge game from Optic Gaming, the first game on World's Edge. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, World's Edge and jump into the action.
Also, just want to highlight, because we're still getting our standings set up here right now, that TSM is still remaining on top after game number 3. We are, once again, on game number 4, but they are still on top despite falling down in 14th place with 3 KP, and Alliance is still behind them after they got 7th in that game. So that's still nice to know with Optic Gaming overall in 4th place, as we see an early fighting happening with NRG. Sweet being the first to go first. Nathan, he's like a shark in the water, chasing down with the Mozambique. It doesn't matter. You gotta bring a Mozambique to the fight, of course, at the very end. It's Vex that find them here? How many times is Vex gonna try to force out these 50-50s? First it was Climatizer, and now it's here in Countdown?
Yeah, Vex is just trolling right now. First they drop Climatizer, they win the fight against C9. You think they'd go back there, but instead they say, nah.
They're gonna grief NRG
now. Yeah, instead. Let's just prove that we are just as good, if not better, than any North American team. And Vex about to win a 3v3 against NRG. We didn't see the early fight. We didn't know if they caught NRG off guard, but kudos to our Obs team for catching the majority of the action here. Gilderson's left last alive.
Guild, what are you gonna do? What are you going to do when they come for you? Gonna finish them off? All right, that's great, because in case a guild even drops down, at least you could secure that KP. The longer this fight goes, though, Fearfall, the more I'm worried for energy, which is why I agree that guild has to back off. One, he didn't have another weapon. He had no ammo, and he can't get to the other pillbox. Vex griefs NRG up their own drop spot. Are you kidding me? C9 and then NRG, what are they, collecting Exodia?
Absolutely insane. Next thing you know, they'll drop on TSM Lava Siphon next game just for the hell of it. Of course, next game will be game number 6 on World's Edge. Keep in mind, those that are just joining us, first off, welcome to the Code Freedom $50,000 finals. 8 games of World's Edge and Storm Point, and then 1 game of Broken Moon, winner take all. That's outside of the overall standings. That'll be a lot of fun. But we're doing 2 on Storm Point, 2 on World's Edge, and so on and so forth until we get to game 8. Here comes Alliance wanting the third party.
And this is what I was worried about. That's why I was looking at what a guild wanted to do. If you want to just back up and just loot around Countdown instead of re-engaging, because the longer these early fights go on, that's a green light for teams like Alliance that land in the neighboring areas to just move in and collect free KP and any stragglers that are already low. Also, you see TSM taking a fight with start a fight. Alliance gonna walk away with some early KP. Let's see if they find that last straggler real quick, as TSM are actually on the other side looking to clean things up.
Yeah, and that's big. It's on SAF, who's been doing a really good job staying consistent in the standings. So massive, massive fight for TSM, eliminating a team that's trying to contend for first with them. But it looks like they're only going to get the kill on Blast. The rest will survive. And if I don't know if we have the standings that we could show up, I know we didn't have a chance to show it in between games last, but it'd be good to quickly pop that open once things kind of calm down a little bit. If we do have the standings available, we'll keep you all updated on that. But TSM, like Vicky said, is on top.
Yes, super important to note with TSM being on top and Vex Gaming only having one last alive. Not really doing the best that they were expecting to do. I believe they're sitting overall on 13th place. In the last game, they did fall in 17th with 3 KP. As you can see, shout out to production, popping up that little mini overall standings
so many I didn't even see it.
It's actually, I actually love it here. Love the aesthetic, love the way it looks, and you can see as well that TSM is still on top. Alliance right behind them with the differentiation of those 6 points. Alliance is now.
Is that 8 supposed to be a 0? Start of fight has 38 points or 30 points? I'm guessing 30.
Oh. I believe they're supposed to have 28, so I think that 3 is supposed to be a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they got 28 points overall. So they're right behind Alliance, that's in second place by just 2 points, with Alliance now moving in on the last straggler of Vex Gaming.
Yep. Little typo there, but no, that's awesome. Clutch from observing and production team throwing that up. So it's a pretty close race here between our top 5 teams. Again, is what you like to see going into a game number 4 halfway through the series. TSM, Optic, both in the top 5, but also EU showing up. Start a fight and Alliance holding it down. Playing really, really well.
Oh, love it. Love the D7. One of my favorite weapons. And behind the Rampart barrier, G-Dolphin. Completely different beast out here with the Rampart. I like the quick rotation, so you can see that the team pinging ahead saying, all right, get out of the cover. Let's try to cut off this rotation real quick. Let's add in the extra pressure because there is that fight happening in front of them. You saw the fuse ult get unleashed.
Another northern zone, indeed. I saw Chad talking about it. It's kind of funny. All we get is northern zones now. Some people might remember the era or the days of only getting south zones in ALGS, so it's interesting that things have changed, and now it seems like every zone's a northern one. But here we go, VZD, see you later, Team G, as Team Girl falls to the hands of 9imps.
Very volatile spread out fights after that insane, highly contested 50-50s that we've been seeing from a lot of our other teams. VZD, though, in a very good spot. Very similar spot to the spot that we saw Team Liquid in when they were running the Newcastle comp back in the ALGS on Sunday. Good spot to hold. As you can see, BR Demons in a fight themselves. Massive on the ground, let's not forget. As the Black Hole blows up the doors here, Aim Wizard looking to grieve some kids. It's E6, actually, that have the advantage right now. This is why Horizon is so good, by the way. The immediate reposition into getting onto high ground, that's a positional advantage, but E6 have the health advantage instead.
And they also got a lifeline to just tap Liffen and get the quick res, and boom, back to 3. You'll love to see that lifeline meta coming through. BR Demons gets taken out. Slayers is the kill leader. That's a player. Okay, there, yeah. That's a little bit of an upset case Swinny right there, my friends. But now Slayers doesn't get the respect and recognition he deserves as a top controller player. Looks like they're too busy shooting boxes and not getting ready to thwart this third party, though.
Oh no, there's spaghetti everywhere right now. You saw Case Winning throw out that Arc Star, which also destroyed the cover that his teammate was trying to heal up behind. At the same time, also taking some damage at Space Station that wanted to capitalize off the third party, and it looks like they're coming out on top, getting the knock onto Case Swinney as the rest of E6 are trying to just restabilize. Space Station are looking to make an appearance.
Yep. Karma indeed, says Onder, and I agree. That is unfortunate for E6. They get taken out. Too busy shooting boxes, not getting ready for the third party. No, I'm just joking. As one person who likes to BM sometimes in ranked, I'm all about it. All about the BM. But shout out to SSG, though, for capitalizing, getting the kills right there. Thank you again, Attack Donkey. Appreciate the kind words in the chat. For the passion, Vicky and I, certainly not short of any passion for this game. We absolutely love this. One day we'll play together, and it'll be absolutely insane, Vicky. One day.
No, we got to. We have to. Especially with the 1v1s. We're going to tell production to post that up real quick. Gotta have it recorded. Front page news. Tripods, though, they don't want to be the ones on the front page news, though, getting beamed up as Nick Burks doesn't have a shield real quick, but he's taking these nice off angles with a 30-30, clicking on some bodies, but Jet gets taken down first. See that bit of that high ground. Not only is it in favor of tripods, but ooh, nice grenade toss from the low ground real quick, avoiding Nick Burks' head just ever so slightly. Can they get this res as they approach inside the Seer ult, though?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, especially with him being knocked in the Seer ult. Probably not going to get the res. Nice shot from Nick, getting connect for a 30-30 shot, but it's not going to be enough. Nick has to go huge now, and a 1v gets good damage in, but the tripods will be eliminated to Alliance. Alliance continues to pop off with effects. I'm loving what I'm seeing right now with this roster.
Alliance is on another level, and this is what I always wonder. Every time we see Alliance pop off in these type of tournaments, and then in the ALGS, we see that inconsistency. I mean, you have to give them props that they've been playing with a different third, rotating between Mandy. They've had Effect obviously come in for a lot of these tournaments. So it's nice to be able to see them be able to adapt between Yuki and Hakis. But despite that, they're still within the top contention of the top 5 squads in the EMEA region.
ANC outplayed, getting taken out at the hands of Moist, but they're going to get third party now. It's going to be another squad coming through. It's Ascend, another European team that says, don't you dare kill our European compadres. The Portuguese, the Italians are one and the same, culturally speaking, and Ascend gets their revenge as unfortunately, ANC outplay got taken out right before. Guard is nearby and is able to get this trailer, which is a good position here for a crypto team. We'll see if they can survive the sandwich of 100 Thieves in Ascend.
Yeah, with this circle, I like that prediction onto the railroad tracks down below, but with early rotations to that spot, it leaves you open to a lot of third parties unless you're running the Watson composition. You have that ult to help negate a lot of the damage from these grenades. Very similar to what 100 Thieves is running right now, but we note that the real estate has already been taken up on the low ground. They're just going to be playing on the outskirts as VZD are looking to continue on this fight. They've been in this fight over here for quite some time, and now Mandy's going to be able to move in. This is one of the players that I was mentioning before, but he leaves him out open as the Seer overviews where he's going.
And sometimes you get really greedy for the black hole nade toss, and that's what happens. Cloud9 punishing VZD and Mandy for coming through. He eats a car to the face, and as a result, guess what? See you later, VZD, Cloud9 on top.
C9 gonna get the res onto Stay Naughty. They're gonna be able to restabilize just as quick with the circle closing in right behind them. Nobody in sight to third party them, but we note that across the field, across that zip line, right next to this POI, is gonna be Ascend playing up the low ground, who got there first before 100 Thieves that have that slight advantage on the high ground with the very similar composition. Ascend's not gonna go anywhere. The Ascend's actually really good at predicting these type of circles, so they're very quick to rotate to make sure that they have the real estate to deny that from any other squads that want to do the same.
Optic Gaming, look at their positioning. Everyone take note. In zone, north with the zone continuing likely to pull north here. Good positioning for them. They have a chance to go back to back here with another win. We'll see if they can do it. Keep a close eye on them. Ascent with C9 right behind them. With a substitute and Chaotic Much, they've looked better. I wouldn't say great, but better than they've looked the last couple of days. They seem to be playing super well as a team, at least today. We'll see if they can do that in our last 5 games here. This is game 4, if you're just tuning in, of our 8-game series. 4 games on World's Edge, 4 games on Storm Point. Winner takes $20,000 of the $50,000 prize pool.
Absolutely massive stakes on the line right here as C9 are looking to take their time to ease their way into the next circle, which they also had the information for. So I like the way that a lot of these teams are utilizing the compositions that they're rocking in lieu with the way that the circle is pulling, like Ascend with the Watson as well as the Crypto. Guard get eliminated, by the way, by Ascend, who looks like Guard wanted to force her way into that spot. So with the high ground going in favor of C9 right now, you could see the residue of VZD just being left behind with the rampart barriers.
Yeah, 12 squads remaining. This has been an aggressive lobby so far in our first 4 games, which is fun to watch. And again, I think that's because you see teams that are of all different tiers. You know, you have teams like Outplayed that I think are just slightly just being a little critical here. It's part of the job. Slightly outclassed. I put them in the lower tier than some of these other squads. They're able to kind of sneak in through the first qualifier. They certainly earned their spot, but you didn't have as many S or A tier pro teams in the first qualifier as you did the second. And as a result, you see a lot more aggression in these lobbies of teams trying to capitalize on that. They are not having themselves a great day. But Ascend right now also rocking the Crypto on Kashera. Looks like we got 2 Crypto teams today. We told you we probably see at least 1 or 2 European teams. Ascend is one of them.
It's a good idea, too, when there's so much Watson that has been recently played, too. That EMP not only destroying all that Watson works with when it comes to setting down her fences, but it's also a really good engagement tool when it comes to any squads that are trying to force their way into their spot, because that is where we can predict where the circle is going to be pulling. We've seen end circles land there and finish up in that direction time and time again as Scurry's in some trouble, but he's rocking the Newcastle. He's all good. Get down, Mr. President. He doesn't get away in time, though. 100 Thieves may have just gotten too ahead of themselves. You set down the fence, but you gotta look to your back.
Yeah, it's Duplex versus 100 Thieves, Optic versus 100 Thieves. This is a battle of Hex versus Nade Shot here as Anmu and Vaxlon going to heal back to full, but they lost 1. Can they sneak a res? They're going to be trying to do so. And the Watson fences will certainly help. Optic says, nuh-uh, good luck. Here comes the push. Skittlecakes gets almost knocked, but it's going to be all Optic all day. Look at the bait and switch coming through. Look at the movement right after.
Wow.
Immediately turns and says, you guys finish up. I'm going to watch for a third party. I love his teamwork. They're going to back out and reset.
What I also loved was the way he just slid in there to save Nox, and he basically slid into Nox. DM said, all right, don't worry, I got you, I got your back. And Space Station said, all right, don't worry, we got the other side. We are going to sandwich this team, and that is the issue, taking up real estate in a spot like this. 100 Thieves originally, remember, wanted the same train cart that Ascend was in because we've seen the end circle land there. That's why a lot of teams like to fight for that spot really early. But being here in this tunnel is more risky because you are just opened up in both different directions that would allow your team to get sandwiched. So Space Station now are gonna get to live on this other side of the tunnel, but they know with Optic Gaming being right there, they don't want to be too risky. They want to rotate around the rocks. Inevitably gonna come across another team.
We take a moment just to talk about how Optic played that. That was a masterclass in how to play a 3v3. If I had time to make YouTube content, I'd be breaking that down, doing a VOD review.
Yeah.
Of that. Optic pushes that, doesn't ape. People think you always have to ape. No. You can get damage, slow the fight down, bait, wait, especially with Seer. You can cancel revives, cancel heals, and then go back in, do some more damage, and then back out again and let another team finish your kills for you. That was Space Station coming through, finishing their kills, doing the damage, and forcing the team to leave. That's called knowing a third party is going to come and capitalizing and being ready for that third party, unlike we saw from E6 earlier this game. That was really well played.
The also swap up between when one teammate from Optic Gaming needed to reset was also really important communication coming in for Optic, because that's a lot of information being said at the same time. Space Station forcing their way into the train cart said, E6 sit down. Space Station is just trying to clear up all the real estate that they need to get a safe rotate into this next circle. This is really smart on them because what they're basically doing is making sure that their backs are always covered and at least against the circle, if anything.
Yeah, I'm like what I'm seeing from SSG right now. They haven't had monstrous first few games. They need a big one here. Can they get it? They got a couple kills to their name. They're pretty well positioned for this late game. They got to be careful for Optic, though. That's right nearby. That'll be their biggest challenge in winning this one. But SSG needs to go huge. Alliance, speaking of going huge, they've been playing out of their minds. Nice job from Effect right there. Good movement, but Yuki is down. He's going to have to do something insane.
Let's see. He's now forcing his way in. Yuki's going to get res. His Effect is going to cover him real quick here, too, on the low ground. Effect, though, falls incredibly low. He gets for a really quick shield swap before the Seer ult gets sent down. Wondering, that's the third party moving in, and they're already on the high ground. You got to get out of this radius of the Seer ult. They have too much information.
Effect is out of his mind. He's playing so well right now, doing so much damage, allowed them to get the res, got a couple kills, and then was able to get some more damage in before hitting reset. But the Seer intel is too strong. He's going to get scanned by micro drones, and now needs to be extra cautious. Pops the med kit, and Alliance hits reset against TSM. So well played as a team.
I love it. TSM now inching their way on a slight low ground. They're going to take the skyward dive immediately after seeing a team Alliance right in front of them. They want to immediately try to get to the high ground. It doesn't look like it's contested, but when they land on that high ground, they will have to fight C9. They are going to get sandwiched by the squad that's right to their left. I like the way that they ease their way into that little crevice where they're not exposed exactly on the high ground because Alliance got caught off of their rotation. But with Burhos going down and them having a health disadvantage with the Blue Evo shields, this may be it for TSM.
My God. Effect. And Alliance is popping off right now. TSM says, let's try and gatekeep them. Let's Valk ult drop on high ground and absolutely screw them over. Alliance says, yeah, good luck. Effect drops the Horizon Q, takes to the skies and beams Verhulst, gets the knock on Verhulst, which opens the door for Alliance. He may have gotten taken out ultimately by the third party, but that was so well played for Alliance. Oh my goodness, what a play from Effect.
And it was also huge that there was still that squad behind them and C9 on the other side to actually help them out in that situation. That does highlight that even though you have the high ground right there, if you're stuck between those two squads that have you in your line of sight, you want to cut that rotation off from Alliance, good luck with that. You have other squads that have you that they're going to take shots at you instead.
I'm loving what I'm seeing from Alliance right now, but again, it's not over yet. 6 squads remain. This high kill game will mean nothing unless you can get a top 3 finish and get the placement points to follow. Zach Mazer and co have them in their sights. That's the next big challenge for Alliance.
CC9 wrapping around this rock, full red Evos. Ooh, slightly taking a little bit of that circle damage, though. Was it worth it with the Thermite getting sent out, controlling some of that space? Who's going to take onto the high ground first? As you can see, Chaotic getting onto the high ground, sticking onto the gravity. He took so much damage instantly. He looked at them for 2 seconds.
And the Seer Q is going to come through and cancel the... No, he didn't get the shield that off, actually, so they missed the Seer Q. That's the only thing that's keeping G2 Chaotic alive in this fight. I'm surprised Alliance didn't capitalize on that damage.
trying to play this passive aggressively. Alliance is on another level this tournament, honestly. They're playing so well. Oh, C9, though, looks like getting knocked real quick before we make our swap over from another observer. Corpa is the team that is on the other side. This is the team that also added in the extra pressure to TSM when they went on the high ground and tried to contest Alliance.
And guess what? Alliance just took out Cloud9. I think a third party came through as well. But Alliance continues their run with their game of perfection. Here goes their next challenge. It's Ascend. Kashera down to 50 HP, down to nothing. See you later. The Alliance trio playing so well as a team needs to get these kills, needs to get the res quick.
No.
With Corpa nearby. We know Optic Gaming is alive and SSG, I believe, as well, as they made their rotate, but I'm not positive.
Corpa also rocking the Rampart and the Bangalore. Are you kidding me? We're talking about the different comp diversities that we got out here in the lobby. It's not just G-Dolphin, okay? Gotta make way for Corpa to also make an appearance, sharing the real estate on the other side of the rock with Optic Gaming. Careful 3 tricks. You may try to wrap around, but there is gonna be that full Optic Gaming squad waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah. Sounds like Cloud9 got griefed by range from a few other teams, or maybe DC'd. We'll get to try and get the intel there if we can. But right now, it's Optic, it's SSG, and it's Corpa. EU versus 2 American teams left in this competition. 20 seconds till zone closes here. A 3-way fight for the bread. Can Optic go back-to-back?
Let's find out. This is definitely one of the more consistent teams to be able to do it. All right, Skittles. He took to the skies on the gravity lift with the Kraber in hand, and he said, say hello to my little friend as he went all the way up there. Space Station also rocking the Bangalore, so both Corpa and Space Station have smoke grenades to work with in this final circle, despite not having the positional advantage. Optic Gaming still have the high ground over both of these squads.
I think I may have seen a Digi-Threat in Zanile's hands and inventory as well. So that's obviously the wombo combo there for Bangalore. Smoke plus Digi-Threat to see through that smoke. And if it's in the crafter, that's why you're seeing a lot more Bangalore at play, I believe. Meanwhile, SSG needs this win. They're right behind in the standings. They're not in the top 5 as it currently stands. Pun not intended. Corpa probably needs it even more. One of those kind of tier teams, I think just a few tiers below everyone else in this lobby, but trying to show that they can bang with the best.
Talk about production and swapping to these different windows too. Absolutely love seeing these different perspectives and point of views as Space Station are going to take some shots with the flatline. Trying to wrap around. Where do they move without getting sandwiched themselves? Here comes the Rolling Thunder from both sides, it looks like, between Corpa and Space Station, and this is going to be their initiation.
Yeah, that's right. Bangalore ults get dropped from both teams, which means no more ult for late game here. Timed pretty well. Here comes this here ultimate to get intel. Optic is actually going to be griefed already. It's all up to Duplex. Last alive, can he pull a rabbit out of the hat yet again?
Let's find out. Space Station's finding some knocks themselves. They need to get their second member up alive. Optic Gaming, if they want an opportunity to go back-to-back, but Space Station says, make way. RE45 in Frex's hands. Gotta love to see it. This thing absolutely shreds. Look at this. It's actually crazy. Optic do manage to get Skittle Kicks alive. Can he restabilize? He's trying to reset, but a plethora of grenades are getting hurled in Duplex's direction.
Corpa's out.
Oh,
Optic Gaming gonna hit reset here. They find themselves in a 2v3. This is SSG's game, surely, unless they can pull something insane out here. First knock's gonna come through for Dupe. He's gonna use that knockdown shield, gets the final kill point, gets the shield. Almost. Skittle Cakes is still alive. Are you kidding me? How is Optic doing it? He's got himself a Kraber.
Trying to shield swap.
No! Space Station Gaming closes it out.
They close it out, but the 2 times both Optic Gaming with Duplex and Skittles try to go for a shield swap. Duke was a little too slow, and Skittles, by accident, when he pressed the button, ended up rezzing Dupe instead of getting the shield swap. Space Station are absolutely going to take those because they were playing at a pretty bad spot. Let's wait. Let's take a breather real quick, Fallout. We're going to be moving on to game number 5.